Hello and welcome to an experienced episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, Jason Marshall of Jams Drywall out of Louisville, Kentucky. He's only 29, but don't let his age fool you. He's come up quick in the industry and has a knack for being successful. There was a time when he maybe even hired somebody to show him how to run the tools.
And I had just bought my first set of tools, which was North Star tools. I bought them from Tony Ferguson, the guy of Great Lake taping tools or whatever.
Yeah.
So I bought them from him, and I had no idea how to use them. So I bring in Eric. And he's like, man, what do you want me to do? He's like, it's only going to take one guy like 2 hours to coat this whole house. And I'm like, well, that's fine. Like, you just stand there and tell me how to do it. And I'm going to pay you by the hour. And, you just let me do it.
Shut up. You paid him to train you.
Yeah. He was like, why would I want to do that, man? Because then you won't need me anymore. I was like, well, I'm always going to need help,
Jason is a fantastic guy, and I'm sure you guys will feel the same after listening to this episode. This month's episodes are brought to you by Can-Am Tools. Can-Am Tools has been a supporter of the Drywall Podcast for a long time, and I appreciate them for that. Can-Am Tools is also celebrating 50 years of excellence as the original and leading inventor of the semi-automatic drywall finishing tool. Their line of tools is centered around the compound tube, one of the most versatile tools on the market. Now, for the months of March and April, you have a chance to get your hands on these amazing tools at a discounted price. If you go to canamtools.com, enter promo code TDP15, that will happen. Also, be sure to be on the lookout for my interview with company president Wolfgang Dombrowski, episode 44 of the Drywall Podcast. The Drywall Podcast is also shamelessly sponsored by Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. Now available at CSR in-store and online. Guests of the Drywall Podcast will receive a sweet swag bucket from CSR filled with all kinds of wonderful things like a Fresco Harmony sample pack, a 3-way, a spy sponge, a tech dry tool, shirts, and much more. But for now, episode 47 of the Drywall Podcast with Jason Marshall of Jams Drywall. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man. Cold today. I got like a high of 50 today.
Jams Drywall. We have Jason Marshall out of Louisville.
I figured you'd be practicing that.
Louisville, Kentucky. And yeah, he's 29. So in the younger range of interviewees that we've had on the Drywall Podcast. Welcome to the show, Jason. What's up, man?
Thank you.
Drywall Magazine. Yeah, do you follow do you follow Drywall Magazine?
I don't think so, man.
You don't go in that group?
No, I don't think so.
David Lee.
I try not to get in all the groups. There's so many of them.
There's so many. Which groups do you get on?
Mainly just the Drywallers Worldwide, Drywall Junkies.
Okay.
And then I actually run the Remodelers Worldwide.
I didn't know that. That's a big one, right?
Yeah, we've got over 10,000 members.
That's
currently,
a bunch.
So yeah.
Okay. Drywallers Worldwide.
Yeah, actually it was Joe Cleveland, the one that created Drywallers Worldwide.
Right.
He created Remodelers Worldwide, and then kind of let me take over at like 150 members because he was too busy with the drywallers page. So he let me take over the remodel page. And
Okay.
yeah, now we have over 10,000 members. It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, how so?
Just a lot of requests come in, and you had to weed out the bad people, the negative people, and
Wait a
stuff like
second.
that.
Wait a second. You have negative people on your group? I don't
Oh yeah,
understand.
not nearly as
Why?
bad, not nearly as bad as drywall junkies, but yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
sure. Yeah,
yeah,
I was just editing the Kevin Bush. We discuss. He got a little perturbed on that Drywall Junkies page. Myself as well. I had early on, I had to get off of there. It was too much. Like, it was just like, these guys are dicks. Like, I got to go somewhere else. This is like too much.
yeah. I don't click on the comment section. I just kind of scroll and see the picture, and I stay away from the comments.
But in we had Kyle on the show, Catling, who runs Drywall Junkies, and great guy.
Yeah,
We talk about it a little bit. We talk about it. It's part of it is like, well, we're drywallers, man. We talk trash.
yeah,
There's sort of there's a balance there too. But yeah, it's
yeah.
challenging.
The guy that taught me how to run tools, I actually found him on the Drywall Junkie page. He was from the same place I am, and we ended up linking up. And he's actually the one that taught me how to run boxes and bazookas and everything.
Fascinating. So you were, yeah, 9 years. I mean, Kyle, yeah. So that page probably precedes your being in business, even. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah,
Crazy. That doesn't like occur to my old Gen Xer brain because, like,
right.
like, I was around before any groups, Facebook, any of that. Like, like there wasn't social media.
Yeah, I'd say it's a
So
lot easier nowadays that you have social media to, I mean, as you know, like the sales and advertising your product, like it's got to be way easier now than it would have been 15, 20 years ago trying to get people to learn about Fresco Harmony. Well, now you got the internet, so now you can promote it on the internet.
yeah, absolutely. With a little footwork and certainly the podcast has helped. But
But like
yeah,
we've noticed, I was just talking to my sales rep yesterday about it. Like people don't ask friends and neighbors for referrals anymore. They just get straight on Google or Facebook and ask for recommendations. Like for anybody looking for
oh
a drywall person, they don't really ask friends and neighbors anymore. Now
no.
they go right to the internet.
No, the Better Business Bureau's probably on the downwards tick.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would say these days. I've never bought anything from the Better Business Bureau.
I didn't.
No, they bug you, but I was like, okay,
Why do we need you?
so I can put a sticker on my car.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. That's an interesting aspect. If I want to find a plumber, or I just recently found an accountant, a very fantastic bookkeeper from Facebook. I was like, hey, I need a bookkeeper, like, please. Like, I lost my
Right.
bookkeeper. I need a book, and she's fantastic, man. Couple people chimed in, done.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even ask other people for recommendations anymore. You just get straight online. So
Yeah, and I probably three or four like people that were like, hey, I'll do it. I'm a bookkeeper, or somebody's like, oh, you should talk to this person.
right.
Like instantly. So that's an interesting aspect. Jams Drywall, you're all over the internet, but you haven't checked out Drywall Magazine yet, or the Mentors page. You should definitely go on that one.
Okay. I've seen them float around, but I haven't been into them yet.
So Mudman Dan started the mentors page. He got mad because people were being so mean to the new people. So he started this like angel
Max
group.
and Matt.
He started this angel group of like the drywall mentors, like all these men. You can come on, you can ask us how much to charge for stuff. It's okay. Like we'll help you out. So that's a pretty cool group, and they have a very strict policy about offering advice and not being a jerk. And then
Yeah,
David Lee runs Drywall Magazine, so that's a decent group as well.
that's good. How many members is it? Is it
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. So Jason, you started your business. You weren't in business very long. How did you get your start? Did you have a mentor? Did you work for somebody?
so we started out when I was 18, obviously, right out of high school. We worked
Okay.
for Me and my dad worked for a remodel company, remodeling houses and everything. Now this was back in like 2011. So the housing market was taking off again from the 2008 crash. So a lot of stuff going on. And did that for like 3 years, learned how to do everything. And
Okay.
but the one thing nobody wanted to do, there was like a 10-man crew. Nobody wanted to do drywall. So
Yeah.
they put me on it. And I mean, I sucked at it. I didn't know anything about it. So like 3 years goes on and then I get better at it. People start hitting me up for side work and
Yeah.
I start doing things on the side. And then next thing you know, like I just bought a magnet, put it on my truck, and somebody called me.
Interesting. Now, were you hanging?
Um, so when I worked for that remodel company, we would do like a bedroom or patches and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But no, I did my first house on my own. Like I've never worked for a drywall
Woo!
company, none of that stuff.
Ballsy. That's ballsy, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. It was a long road, man. It took me a good like. So then I started out on my own, but I
That's
would
great. I would
do
have never done
everything.
that. I mean, I didn't, I started out doing drywall finishing, but I would have never jumped out like that early on. What was the name of the remodel company that you were working with?
Ron Owens, R.L. Owens, just a local guy.
Local guy. He was pretty cool, brought you up, taught you a bunch of stuff. Would you say that you gravitated towards the drywall, or was it all about like just nobody wanted to do it? I see a niche here. I want to move in that direction because I think that I could maybe carve out a business for myself. I mean, were you having those types of thoughts?
So what really did it for me was so when I branched out, I did remodeling work also. So I was doing full renovations, bathrooms and stuff. And I read a couple books, Rich Dad Poor Dad,
The one thing,
one thing,
just one thing.
one thing.
Who's the author of that?
I can't remember the author.
And then Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is a very popular.
Yeah. And like what that book would teach you is to master one thing and get really good at it, put systems, processes in place. Basically, that way you can have a self-operating business.
Smart.
And I didn't see that with remodeling houses because there's so many different
So many
avenues.
things.
Like you got to
Yeah.
know how to tile floors, do waterproofing, siding, windows. Like
Nightmare if you ask me.
you're
Like
not going to
those
find somebody that can do all of that stuff proficiently. That way you can make a profit. So I was already doing a lot of drywall. People were calling me for it. So I finally
smart.
made the decision 4 years ago just to do strictly drywall and
Okay, so
drywall.
you were 25, 24.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were working with the remodeling company. were you still working with the remodeling company and you had been doing most of their drywall? Is that how you like skinned your teeth? I mean, you had to be pretty good at drywall to start a drywall company. I mean, were you by the time you decided to start your own company? I mean, were you pretty much just doing drywall for the remodel company, doing it on the side?
Kind of both. Kind of
Yeah.
both. It wasn't Drywall wasn't even in my brain at all. So when I went downtown to file for the LLC, I actually was naming the company Jam Remodeling, and
Okay.
that was already took. So I was like, oh man, I'm standing there with this buddy of mine, and I'm like, man, I got to think of something else like right now. And he was
I
like, well,
like
dude, you do. He was like, you do a lot of drywall, so put that in there. So I put Jam's Drywall and Remodeling.
okay.
So it wasn't even a thought to do just drywall. It wasn't even a thought, man.
Why jams?
It's my initials.
Jason Marshall.
Yeah, Jason Andrew Marshall.
Okay, Jams. I like it. That's a good name. Jams Drywall is fantastic. There's not too many of
Yeah,
those.
it's easy to say.
Yeah, it's cool.
Logos are easy to make. Like it's simple. You can see it driving down the road pretty easily.
Yeah,
So
you're good with the marketing stuff. You're always posting. You remind me of Daniel Osborne a little bit. He's got like the trailer
yeah,
and the truck. And in his interview, he's like, "You can see that trailer from 3 miles away." And I was like, "That's pretty smart." I throw a
yeah, we
couple
got the
magnets on.
statistics. Have you
And-
seen what he did to his front the grill on that
oh
truck?
yeah, it's
That's
cool.
that's super cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
it's dope. Yeah, and he's just such a character anyways. That's one of my classic favorite interviews too. But we were talking about the different interviews and yeah, that one has a special place in my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great,
So
man. He like sets a standard for people to look up to, you
yeah,
know. He sets it like that. What he's doing is what we try to do. We try to be clean, professional, that's what you want. Like that's who you would want to send to your mom's house to do a drywall patch.
yeah, yeah. Well, his early on when I was doing the podcast, I would name the episodes. Now it's like Jason Marshall jams drywall. Like, I don't know why I sort of stopped naming them. I would have come up with something clever. But his was setting the standard, Daniel Osborne,
That's right. Yeah.
because that's what he does, and it's he and we talk about that like how do you have the nerve to just go in and tell somebody it's like 5K and then they're just like they get mad at him. Like, what are you talking about 5K? I'm not gonna pay that, stupid drywaller. Get out of my house, like that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
and especially in Florida, like because
Yeah,
all I hear about Florida is they're just so cheap, so cheap, so cheap. So yeah, it's impressive that he gets that, but I
yeah,
totally see why. His image precedes himself, like
yeah,
I can see
yeah,
why he gets paid what he gets paid.
yeah,
He
yeah.
put in the work. So
That's how he carries himself. And then he shows up. Well, he was talking about vetting clients too, which I do a little bit in my world as well. It's like I'm on the phone with somebody. I'm like, hey, I have a minimum bid, pal. I'm gonna increase my minimum bid. It's like 1,400 and it's 350 a square foot. Like I'm just letting you know before I drive out there. I don't want to be
yeah,
wasting my time. It's fine. I'll look at it and give you a bid, but this is where you're going to be coming in at least $1,400 for me to come out to your house and do a fireplace or whatever.
yeah, same thing, man. Because I mean, we're at the point we can't go
Yeah.
look at every single job. So if it's just a
Yeah.
patch, I'll tell them like, hey, send us a picture. Send
Okay.
me. You don't have to send me the address, but tell me what part of town it is, and then
You'll do some patches and stuff though. Do you have a couple of good patch guys?
Yeah, we love doing patches. I'd rather do patches than houses.
Interesting, huh?
The
Yeah,
profit
they can
margin's
they can
way
make
higher.
money. Yeah, the
Yeah,
profit margin's good on patches. That's
yeah.
pretty much all Daniel does is like he goes around like, he's a patch master, the doctor, the surgeon, drywall
That's what I
surgeon.
want to try. That's my goal for this year is to really try and push more patches.
Fire everybody and just drive around and do patches.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna do it, but
So if you don't know, Jason has 20, you said 20 employees.
yep, we have about 20 guys working every day.
So that's a fantastic crew or several crews, and you've got and by 4 years in, there must be a pretty decent market for drywall in your area. So Jason's new. He's like, I'm gonna leave this remodeling world. I just read one thing, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to focus on drywall. And at that time, I suppose you were hand finishing. You didn't know about the box tools, the automatic tools, semi tools, none of that stuff. And you are like, I'm going to start this business. You now have a business license. You went down and got your business license. You're ready to go. What do you do?
Yep, we just started promoting ourselves and doing more drywall.
How did I mean, you were taking calls mostly, but um, how did you get how did you start getting work early on? And did you have
That was
employees? Did you have employees at that time?
no,
No.
I was doing all of it myself.
Okay.
But that was back in the Craigslist day. Remember, you used to be able to go on Craigslist
Yeah.
and hire people, post ads and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I would be all over Craigslist, all over Facebook. Like I said, I had the magnets on my truck and
Yeah.
just stuff like that, man. And now I go to a lot of business meetings, real estate meetings. So they do a lot of house flipping down here. Like they buy them,
Okay.
fix them up and stuff. So I'm in a lot of those groups and we get a lot of work through those people and stuff like
Okay.
that. But
Are you flipping houses yourself?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Smart. Real. So you're dabbling in real estate a little bit. You have
Yeah.
a few properties.
I just sold it. Actually, I sold it last year and
Okay.
we're looking for our next one now.
Beautiful. That's your first flip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I bought it, rented it out for 2 years, and then I sold it.
Yeah. So you don't have to pay the taxes or whatever on it. You
I did have to pay the taxes on it.
if you stay right, if you stay in a house or if you hold a property for 2 years, it's a different sales thing.
I believe so. I think like you might be getting mixed up with your personal house and then a rental property. So I could have 1031 exchanged it, but then you only have like 60 days to find a new property and stuff like that. But
Oh, okay.
we was able to depreciate and write it off, and I didn't have to pay too much
Beautiful.
on it.
Good for you. Good for you. So, yeah, I don't want to get too far ahead. So, you jump out, you're working by yourself and you're getting jobs and you're doing them all by hand.
Yep,
And you find somebody on Drywall Junkies that like runs a tool and you're like, hey, I want to learn how to run the tools.
yep. Eric Martin.
Eric Martin. And is he still with you?
No, but what's funny is I literally just did a basement for him. So like it's funny how the tables turn. Like he just gave me a whole basement to hang and finish. We just got
Yeah.
done with it yesterday.
Why didn't he do it?
Uh, he didn't have time.
So he's running his own company now.
Nah, he works for somebody else.
He works for somebody else.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
funny because like when I brought him on, we was doing a house. It was like 150 sheets or something. I paid somebody to hang the drywall, and I had just bought my first set of tools, which was North Star tools. I bought them from Tony Ferguson, the guy of
Okay.
Great Lake taping tools or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I bought them from him, and I had no idea how to use them. So I bring in Eric, and he's like, "Man, what do you want me to do?" He's like, "It's only going to take one guy like 2 hours to coat this whole house." And I'm like, "Well, that's fine. Like, you just stand there and tell me how to do it, and I'm gonna pay you by the hour, and you just let me do it."
Shut up. You paid him
He
to
was,
train you.
yeah, he was like, why would I want to do that, man? Because then you won't need me anymore. I was like, well, I'm always going to need help, you know. And yeah, here we are, 5 years later. He doesn't work for us.
Yeah, but that's cool. You were honest with him, and he showed you the tools at that point.
Yeah,
Okay,
we coated the whole house and showed me how to run the boxes. And
okay,
now the bazooka, I didn't learn from him on the bazooka. I had to learn by myself on the bazooka.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's
that was that was pretty
that's a
tough.
that's a tough learning curve there. Which bazooka? Which bazooka? Did you buy a new bazooka or did you get a used bazooka?
So I bought one from Tony, and
You like Tony Ferguson. We need to get him on the show for sure.
even to this day, I
Yeah.
still think they're better. But yeah, we bought a bazooka from him,
Okay.
and it actually turned out to be garbage. Like
Okay. All
it
right.
would just jam all the time. And so yeah, I learned really on a crappy bazooka. And then one day, like it just kept aggravating me, man, so much that I just threw it down, went to the supply house, bought a
Nice.
brand new tape tech bazooka. I had to pay for it, so I just kind of set it down. I'll say that.
Pushed it down a little hard, a little aggressively.
Yeah.
That would be cool though. It would be cool to get a video of somebody just like getting so mad at the bazooka that they just go Jimi Hendrix style in the middle of a house and just like smash it on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I ended up giving it back to him. I traded him for some nail spotters. I gave it back to him, traded him for some nail spotters, and that was the end of that bazooka, man.
Interesting. And you went and bought a new one. So which bazooka did you pick?
They only sell tape tech tools like locally.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Well,
thing. Like
now
supply houses.
I've learned that you can get pretty much anything in the United States from CSR, and it's very reasonable. You go into
Yeah,
their
yeah,
website.
if you from the website, but I'm talking about at the store,
Yeah, yeah.
walk in the store, buy it. Like they only
Just
sell tape
tape
tech.
tech.
Yeah.
What's the shop there in Louisville, Kentucky?
The one that we use is Valley Interior Products.
Valley Interior Products. Okay.
And then you
And
have
their
Ames also, Ames taping tools. We only have one, and that's it.
interior products and Valley Interior Products, that do you get your mud and sheetrock and all that stuff there?
Yeah.
That's a drywall supply. And then they have an
Yep.
Ames. Ames is cool, right?
Good. Yeah.
Have you tried out the Ames tools and all that?
No.
How come? You jumped on with tape tech and you're like, I like these. These are great.
Well, the only thing that we have tape tech is the bazooka, and
Okay.
then my pump ended up going bad on me because I never took it apart. So I ended up buying another tape tech uh, pump. But other than that, we still have all North Star stuff.
Okay.
But I
Interesting.
am going to be every time something breaks, I am going back to tape tech. And the only reason is I buy it from Ames. Like that way the guy recognizes me and he remembers me. Because
Yeah.
if you bring him a North Star handle, he won't touch it. Like only touches tape tech stuff. So I would rather buy the tape tech brand. That way he can fix it right then and there, and we can, get on to the next job.
Basically you're his tool bitch.
Basically, if something breaks, I'm gonna just take it to him. He fixes it.
Good. Hey, that's smart marketing if you're the only company in town.
He's the only
Because
one, and they're the only ones that
yeah,
repair
because
tools.
that repair thing is a pretty big deal. I know that when I was up at CSR hanging out, like they have a whole repair like division. Man, they'll repair. They got dudes that like just work on tools. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always thought about opening up something similar to Ames, just because there's no competition. Like he's the only one in the whole city.
Well, you heard the interview with G4 Drywall Tools. Like he's schlepping tools
Yeah,
um
yeah,
out of his area. That's an interesting model though, because these guys are, what I've learned since that interview is that they are, you want to go brick and mortar if you do something like that, you know.
Right.
And it doesn't seem like a super easy space to jump into. Your profit margins are going to be much better on the drywall, you
Yeah,
know. Just
I've talked to Scott Murray about it,
yeah,
and you basically have to buy all your inventory. They don't give it to you up front. You have to buy it all, and then I think at the time it was like 10% less than retail, so you're only going to make 10%
yeah,
off
tough
of the
route.
tools.
Tough
So, and
route,
it's
but
not.
you would make money on repairing though if you
100%.
offered, if you were like, hey, we'll work on North Star, Columbia, Ames, like Tape Tech, whatever, bring it to us. We'll work on it.
But I feel like it'd be valuable to give the people options because everybody here just goes to the supply house and buys them, so they're only getting tape tech. So if you
Right.
gave them options, they're going to buy
Hey,
those options there too.
we got a call coming in from Santa Fe. Should we take it?
Go ahead. They want to buy some fresco.
This is Nick Harmon.
Hi, do you do plaster wall repairs?
We can. We've got a guy out of Santa Fe that can do fresco harmony up there, but it's not quite plaster. It's like a color joint compound system.
Right, I just need someone to come in. I just have a couple of bulges from when my stucco leaked. I'm getting stucco repaired, so I wanted to get I use variants. So I just
Oh
wanted to get where
man.
they are repaired.
Yeah, stuff's it's hard to repair. Can I give you a call back in 1 second? I will give you a call back here. I'm doing an interview on the Drywall podcast right now, but we'll give you a call back here in a second. We'll talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, cool. Bye. I always want to do that. When I'm doing interviews and I get a phone call, I should shut my phone off. Like that would be smart, but I like, hey, welcome, hey, like we got a caller coming in. That guy, so he's calling me about a variance patch. Like I get calls about plaster patches, which can be lucrative. And I'll use Fresco Harmony. I'll use color joint compound and I can match like a diamond finish patch, like $500, dude, for 20 minutes. Like you can charge whatever you want for those. And I'm like, no guarantees.
Yeah, because
But
he's probably called 5 other people and they say no. Yeah.
no, nightmare variants. Like I don't even do variants. And it's like, that's the problem with plaster. Like that, like people, oh, variance is so strong. You can spray a fire hose at it with water. And it's like, yeah, Fresco Harmony is a little softer. It'll get damaged a little easier. But like, if I want to do that color over a wall, it's no big deal. Go get a color pack and you do it. If it's like a plaster product, it's like it's a nightmare to like do anything with it. So it's all these, you see these plaster finishes and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's fine and dandy, but yeah, what happens if you get a water leak on that $5,000 wall that you did, or your kid runs his car down it and scratches it all up?
Right.
What do you do? They're walls, man.
Yeah.
So
that's what we try to explain to people. Like when they're doing these flip houses and stuff, they'll have like textured ceilings on them, and they're like, "Oh, what do you suggest?" And I'm like, "Well, if you're just gonna rent this house out, like I would suggest making it smooth. That way, if you have a leak at one point, like it's a lot easier to find somebody that can do a smooth repair versus trying to find somebody that can match the texture."
So normally I don't do this, but so I'm in a situation now where, I've got builders here that I have relationships with. So we don't do the drywall, but she wants like, I think I threw her an $18,000 bid. I like kind of didn't want to do it. It's in Placitas, a little far away, Yeah, but it's new drywall. Like, who cares, you know? And I was like, okay, 350 a square foot. She didn't want the drywall company to do it. She liked the way we did it for some reason. This drywall company here in town, I've thrown him like 4 houses, and he still like has no interest in doing fresco harmony. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you charging? Like, you're not making more money doing fresco? Like, I don't get it. You know what?
People get scared, man. They get comfortable and
They're
they get
scared.
scared.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she's like, you know, she didn't like the way his company did it. She was like, no, we want you to do it. I was like, okay, well, you'll pay the premium then. You know, this is what we charge, you know, and that's over new drywall.
Those are the
So
clients you want.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Those are
it's
the ones you
and
want.
so anyways, when we do it, when my company does it, I don't charge extra for samples. So the designer, of course, they have to have a sample. And I'm already telling them, like, you don't need Patterson snow is fine. White's white, you know, especially with fresco because it's very user friendly. So, you know, she gave me that's the color swatch. So this is the match.
It looks the same in that light
I know.
from here.
It's
Yeah, now if you go
freaking spot
sideways a little
on.
bit, yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this would be like if you were in Kentucky, you would be like, you would order for $75. I would send you a small sample of this with the color, and you get a color pack. And then you would you would show the designer. But for me right now, I'm just going to set this outside my office door. She's going to come get it. Done. You're pretty
Is
chill.
that like a real office, like out of your house or a separate location?
No, it's a real office. I'm in the downstairs basement of a 6-story building, and I'm the only one down here. That is the vault, the actual bank vault.
Right.
So that
Okay, yeah, I see it now.
that is a little like bank vault door. That's 2 feet of concrete. And that's about 600 square feet in the vault. That was my old office. And then I blasted through. We cut out this wall here. They were renting this small office next to the vault. So my old office was the vault, and I still use it to, we manufacture product here. I do shipping, all that stuff out of there. This is like,
Gotcha.
the lounge. And
You
then
probably
right,
get terrible Wi-Fi down there, don't you?
yeah, but
Yeah.
this isn't, I had to get an extender, and then next door is like a showroom where I have like sample boards, and I bring clients and they can look at walls and stuff. I mean, you know, like you were talking about, it's not unsmart. The one thing, you know, I was spread out early on. Had all these ideas. I was making art and doing like countertops and doing creative things. And at a certain point, I didn't read the book, but I made a choice. Like, enough people gave me feedback, like, dude, you need to like just choose something and go that direction. And
And
so
it doesn't have to be like I tell this to people all the time and they misinterpret it, but like it doesn't have to be one thing, but a few things, you know. Like you said, you don't want to be doing 20 different things. You want to do just enough things that your people can do or that you can outsource or stuff like that, you know, like
kind of, yeah.
it
Well,
doesn't have to be one thing, but
you're talking about balance a little bit, like life work balance, which becomes a thing, especially I guess if you have 20 employees. Your life work balance starts to become skewed a little bit. Don't get me wrong. If somebody wants to work all the time and just focus on their business and like build a giant business, that's fine, you know, but you have to take your family into consideration. You might want to have children one day, you know. It's the balance. I think you might want to coach soccer. I think people get too overextended, and then all of a sudden it's like I don't have time to breathe. And so it's almost like you got to leave room. during the
That's why I
day.
started. That's why I started when I did, man. Like I wanted while everybody, all these kids were out partying, I was working like
Yeah.
7 days a week. I've been in trouble. My wife has been mad at me so many times for
Yeah.
working on Valentine's Day until 10 o'clock
Yeah.
at night or missing all this stuff. And but
Well,
now
wait, you
we
said wife,
yeah, yeah,
fiance to be correct.
correct. I
Okay.
got about 49 more days, but who's counting?
Well,
She's counting. I'm not.
yeah, fiance is not a wife, man. And congratulations, though. You're almost there. You're almost there. It's an exclusive club. It's cool I enjoy being married. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm cool with it, man. We've been together for 9 years already, so
Beautiful.
we got a 10-year-old daughter, so it's
Oh, okay. You're basically married. She knows what she's getting into. Okay.
yeah, pretty much. So but yeah, she's awesome. She's been supportive since day one. She's totally fine with me working all the
Yeah.
time. So, but she knows
That
the plan. There's an end plan. There's a goal.
Yeah,
Like
what is that? What is the goal for Jams Drywall and Jason Marshall?
hopefully I'll be away from the drywall in 5 to 10 years.
Okay, so and that's real estate stuff?
Yeah, I want to start transferring into the real estate stuff.
Why?
Of freedom.
Aren't you gonna miss like taking care of 20 guys and
Hopefully I'll have somebody in this office chair doing that for me.
okay, all right.
So I don't
Like
have
a
to completely abandon the company, but
sure.
that's the whole point of doing one product, one service. That way you can put systems and people in place to run the company for you. That way I can go do other things.
It's pretty fantastic that you run a company with 20 guys. I mean, you're busy right now.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You were even telling me like it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. I have one guy, some companies I know have, three or four is a lot. There's different levels. We talked with Jake Creeley with the Spy Sponge. He's got like 80. Um, but yeah, that real estate's very smart, especially for drywall. I would say is a hard business to like retire. To have much of a nest egg if you're retiring. Real estate is very smart.
It is, man. That's the bigger company out here, Abel's Drywall. They have over like 150 employees, and they'll tell you like the money's not in drywall. It's in real estate. They're building apartment complexes and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So it's
yeah, yeah.
just drywall's my way to the real estate enterprise. So
Smart. You're so driven. That's a really cool. That's a really cool aspect. I think at 29, I was living in a trailer, dude.
yeah,
I mean, I guess I'm driven too. I have a
it's hard to find friends my age. It's a beautiful. That's I grew up in Colorado,
Oh,
so
okay. What part?
we lived in Denver,
Oh, all right.
and then we moved to Fort Collins, Loveland area.
Okay.
So, and that's still where my mom and my sister they still live there.
Yeah, Colorado was cool, man. I could go back there.
I'm going back
But
on Friday.
I
I'll be
mean,
back on
my
Friday.
model was so weird, like drywall. Like I could jump out and start a drywall company, not to diminish like
Yeah,
what that is. I could jump
yeah,
I could do that. And it's a decent model. You can imagine though, just doing like colored mud, like it doesn't even make sense. It's a ridiculous model. I didn't
yeah.
even think about that when I started out. I was just like, I want to do colored mud. It didn't occur to me that it wasn't a good money maker at the time. You know, maybe I
Yeah,
was
they got
dumb. I don't know. It's weird.
so I guess you guys probably down there you do a lot of texture on the walls and stuff, a lot of knockdown and orange peel.
Yeah. Yeah. Like every house. It's like knockdown orange peel bullshit. It's ugly.
We do it probably once a year, and it'd be somebody's basement where they moved from Colorado or somewhere that had it, and they want it in their basement, and that's about it.
So now if you're talking to a person that's looking to flip homes or do real estate, you would suggest smoothing out existing texture.
Yeah.
Why?
Like I said, it's easier. It's easier for them to find somebody to repair that spot and make it look better.
That's interesting.
Because when you try to hire handyman Joe to do a drywall repair on a textured ceiling, it turns out looking like shit. So it's easier for them to do a smooth patch than it is a textured patch.
Now, when you go smooth, do you do like imperfect smooth? Or do you like flatten it out?
Flat, smooth. Everything down here is flat.
Okay. Because you could do like, like we could run a base coat heavy over the texture and then a tight second coat. And it's wavy, but it looks flat. No sanding, and then paint it.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you ever
no, people down here, they want all flat.
They're like super picky about that. It's so interesting to me. You can have completely shitty, bumpy, ugly ass walls, but then it's got to be flat. It has to be perfectly smooth. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Really? Why? Why can't it just be kind of smooth?
Yeah, but
That's global. That's global, dude. It's like it's a paradigm in drywall. It either has to be perfectly smooth or you could spray fucking popcorn on it. It's like, what? Why is that okay? Why is popcorn okay or ugly broquet or texture?
I would rather, like, the builders always talk about like doing texture. They're like, oh, you don't have to sand, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, I would rather sand the ceiling than texture it. I would rather do that because it's rough rolling mud and stomping.
Okay, well, in Crested Butte, we would do the pool trowel texture with a little lightning bolt, and it was a full wall, like where you cover the full wall with a pool trowel, but you leave a subtle texture. It wasn't ugly like bumpy texture like orange peel, but it was chill, and you only had to finish the wall to like a level 3.
Right.
That was a cool texture. I was like, oh, that's smart. It looks smooth. The builders loved it, but it's not really smooth. And it's super easy to repair.
I've seen videos of that stuff. Yeah. I know how it looks. Yeah.
Yeah. But
to me, it's odd,
You don't like it. You don't like it.
Fair enough. When I go to Colorado on Friday, I'm just going to be looking at all the bullnose corner bead and the knockdown and like, man, this is so ugly. Like,
yeah, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little more. When you do smooth finish, though, you're saying like it's easier to patch the smooth finish, and I'm like, well, I think it really depends on the patch guy because I've seen lots of shitty. Because now it's like if I'm going over a level 5 smooth finish and I'm trying to patch that shit, that's a tough patch.
It is, but like. I don't know, man. We just see so many horror pictures of textured ceiling patches. Like guys are texturing the ceiling with a freaking Kroger bag, like a grocery bag, like
on a plunger. You put like the paper over a plunger and you do like a
So I tell them, I'm like, just make it all smooth, like it'd be a lot easier, like,
Yeah.
But most of the time, they won't call me to come repair it. So that's why I tell them to make it smooth. That way they can hire the handyman guy to come in and do it.
Okay.
Because we're too expensive for those people when the repair happens.
Now, do you have guys on your crew that you'll throw like side work to if you're like busy? You've got patches. Do you sometimes like throw work to your dudes? No.
Nope.
How do you feel about your guys going out and getting their own side work like you did?
I mean,
Zero tolerance.
my one guy, he does it far and few, but like, and I mean, if you're paying them enough, they just don't need it. They don't do it. So
Ah, good point. So you would say that you're paying your guys well?
yeah,
Yeah. Like, do you look at what other people are paying and try to be competitive, or do you have guys? Is it like sliding rate? Like, dude, if you're good, like I will pay you well.
yeah, yeah. We're
Smart.
competitive, but we're like a little bit above.
Okay. And what about benefits and all that stuff?
No, we don't
No
offer you a
benefits.
company vehicle, company gas card, and
Okay.
maintenance free. So that's your benefits.
Okay. So you got like a little fleet, and then you'll load up the truck with stuff and send them out.
Yeah.
That's tough to manage. Do you have anybody else managing besides you?
No, that's the problem. That's what I'm hiring for now is
That's what you're hiring for now. I'll come manage for you, and then I'll just sell all your clients Fresco Harmony, and we'll double your profit margin.
you're gonna make double the problems.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get an in-house designer on board at that point just to talk color.
Just to talk color.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I was telling you about the paint industry. Like
Yeah.
pick the right color, the right sheen, the right brand. Like there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously, you know that. So
Hey, yeah, let me stop you right there though. If a painter can do it, I can do it. Give me a
yeah.
break.
No, I'm not
It's
saying you can't do it. I'm saying that's why we don't offer painting service.
yeah. Yeah, sometimes the designer will do it. Sometimes that's the homeowner's job though, is to pick that. Like I deal with that all the time, you know. Like
Well,
this designer, it's her show. It's like here's
yeah.
the colors, pick a color,
Yeah,
you
if you're
know.
working with a designer for sure, but if you're selling it direct to the homeowner, like when we used to do remodels,
They pick the
I would have to meet them at the store because they don't know what looks good. They don't know what tile to put in their shower and stuff like that. So I
yeah,
would have to meet them and play designer. And obviously
right.
I wasn't charging for that. So that's why I got away from all that stuff. It was too much.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tough one because now they're using your interior design skills that you've sponged for free, you know, under the guise of like, you know, free estimates.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
The free estimate thing. Yeah. That's
Yeah. Do you charge for estimates yet?
no.
No.
No, but we try. I really vet who I give an estimate to.
Yeah.
If it's just repair work, we ask that you send a picture over. We'll give you a ballpark number off of that, and then most of ours is repeat clients. So we're not really competing with a lot of people. So we'll go out and measure the house, give them an estimate. Doesn't take me long, but
You were
doing
saying you
10.
don't do a lot of new drywall though. You're mostly like doing like large remodel stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the only houses that we do are for flip houses, people that gut the house and need all new drywall. And then we've
Okay.
got like maybe two builders that maybe build like 3 to 5 houses a year.
Okay.
We do that, and then you'll get the occasional homeowner that's GC in their own house.
Yeah.
So we'll do that, but like as far as builders go, we don't work for any.
Okay. Interesting.
But like I said, we have basements here. Like almost every house is on a basement,
Okay.
and we'll go in and drywall a basement like 2 months after the people just built the house because they don't want to pay the GC. They don't want to pay the home builder to finish their basement because it costs so much. So they'll get the house built and then the homeowner will subcontract everything out for their basement.
Weird.
Yeah. Because then
And
the builder adds on his 20% overhead plus
yeah.
everybody else. And
Do you is it like concrete? Do you hang over concrete?
they're all concrete, but no, they frame them up.
They're framed up, so you have to go in and hang and finish the basement.
Correct.
Okay. Do you have hangers that work with you?
Yeah, yeah, that's part of the half and half crew, the hangers and the finishers.
Yeah. Well, and you got a texture guy, right?
Yeah.
Doing a popcorn. Don't you have a popcorn specialist?
No,
No.
nope. We got just a little Home Depot special hopper that we use once a year.
Blow the
You
dust
can't,
off it.
you can't even rent them here. They don't even rent them at
Like we
any
don't.
rental places. They don't do that. The
That's good.
sprayer.
It's good to have a hopper in the supply house, though.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah,
yeah.
we did one basement like 2 years ago, man. We put step A bullnose on everything all throughout the soffits. I put reveal bead through the soffit, like in the middle of the
Cool.
soffit, and then we
Yeah.
did a knockdown texture over that, and it was really nice.
It's fun to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
So
we did the step bowl, but I match painted. So now you have the issue of the fresco harmony. You can't go around the step bowl with the product. So I match painted it with a rattle can, like we primed and painted all of the step bowl, and then you finish right up to it with the fresco. Looked cherry. And then we
oh, aren't
matched,
you in the Trimtex ambassador group as well?
yeah,
I think you are. Yeah, they haven't been
yeah.
sending anything out lately.
I think it was, these companies try different ideas. That was a tough sell. The two houses that I did in Step Able were homeowners. And I showed them like the sample and they're like, that's cool. Yes, let's do the whole house. And, I could have sold that stuff.
So what
And,
are you
and
doing? What are you doing at the bottom for the baseboard? What do you do? Are you using the trim piece or no?
I use that little transition piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a video on the YouTube page, on my YouTube page called The Venetian Corner by Fresco Harmony. And we even did step return on all the doors.
Oh wow. I just had a
Yeah.
guy. I had a guy wanting to do that on this last house. He wanted no trim in the whole house, none.
It looks smoking. And I didn't charge extra for shit.
I, I'm
Dude, I did
glad
that.
he didn't have it framed properly. Like he didn't think about that when he built the house. And luckily he
Uh,
chose not to do it because I was dreading it.
well, they have the reveal bead too that goes around the door. It's like a
That's
U.
what he wanted, yeah. And then the
That shit.
baseboard, like he was gonna install the floors first, and then we would drywall that. And I'm just like, man,
Did you use cock rod in your reveal when you went
we
to
would use
finish it?
rope. I'd use rope.
Rope. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that cock rod works like a champ, but you got to pull it out when it's wet.
yeah.
It was so
We
fun,
would
dude.
we would
I did
leave
it
it.
just, I did it just because it was cool.
Yeah, we would leave it in until the final coat and then pull it out. But
Uh,
I used to love selling that stuff, man. I would always upsell putting reveal bead and soffits. There's always those round poles that are in the basement. They box around them. I would picture frame around that. And
yeah,
we
cool.
did the we did the wainscoting. We did that in a basement one
You're telling
time.
me about it. That's a big pain. Yeah, when you're cutting that many angles.
My last office, I had the wainscoting, the
Yeah.
step A bullnose.
It looks like this showroom, maybe you just didn't decide to finish the drywall at all. You just
Yeah, this is plywood. The guy
like,
didn't
like
drywall it.
I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I'm just gonna leave it.
We drywalled we drywalled all this, but
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to mess with the guy's building. So when I'm done here, I can
Oh,
just tear all this
okay.
out.
I see. There you go.
Yeah, nothing's attached to the wood, so like I can get my deposit back when I leave.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. So is that a commercial space?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an
Okay.
actual building. So like I used to have just an office inside of another business, and that's where I had all drywall trim at and stuff, but
Okay.
that's all it was. Like I didn't have any storage area or anything like that. It was just a room. So that didn't
N-
work out too long.
Now, from a real estate standpoint, wouldn't you be inclined to purchasing a commercial space for your business to run out of?
Uh, I would. I don't want to purchase this one because I plan to outgrow it.
Oh, smart. Okay, so you want a little bit more footage. How much footage do you have in your current space?
Let's see. What was it? So I guess 1,500 square feet. It's a
Okay, so
50 by 30 building.
beautiful. And do you keep like do you extra materials and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah. We've got our trailers here, scaffolds,
Okay,
mud, all that stuff. I was
cool.
running out of my house, and I had 3 garages, 3 buildings
Uh,
at my house, and
no.
my fiance wasn't too happy with the parking situation,
Yeah.
and then
Bunch
it
of
was just
guys, all the crew showing up at 7 a.m.,
exactly,
like drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. She's like, get these guys out of here.
exactly, exactly. They're coming over Friday to get paid, and like
Yeah.
my kids running around, like. But this
Yeah.
is a lot better. Like the environment, it's more motivating. It like makes me want to work. Like,
Yeah.
because when I went home, I had a office at my house and I drywalled it and everything. But like once I got home, I didn't want to do the estimates anymore. Like I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm home now. Like I'm gonna hang out with my kids and stuff. So
Yeah.
so now when I'm in this office, it's like, all right, what can we do? We got this to do, that to do. Like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just the environment, man.
Yeah.
I'm certain someone now.
I like having an office away from home, you know. It's like, yeah, when I'm at my office, it's time to work. So
Exactly.
it's a different mindset.
Yeah. It totally shifts your mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Very cool. Jason Marshall, Jams Drywall. What is your pearl of wisdom that you can bestow on the drywall community besides go and sign up for the Remodelers Worldwide Facebook group? Besides that,
Mine would be don't be scared.
don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be frightened. Go all in or nothing at all. You can always go back.
Yeah,
That's what I tell people. If
that's a good one.
if it doesn't work out, the drywall business thing doesn't work out, I can just put my tool belt back on and go back to work.
That was my theory. I was like, I'm going to do colored joint compound walls for a living. And you know what? I already know how to do drywall. I can always get a drywall job.
You can always go back, man.
What's
But
what's there to lose, you know?
if you're 50, 60 years old, it's hard to go forward, you know?
Yeah, it's harder. That isn't to say
Harder,
that
yeah.
you can't. You
Yeah,
can't
Gary Gary V says you can, but
yeah. Yeah. Careful with that too. I'm 46. 50's not that old. Gary V. Do you listen to a lot of Gary V?
not really. I catch a little clips of it, but
Yeah,
Grant
I follow
Grant
him.
Cardone is mine. I like Grant
What
Cardone.
I have not listened to any. GrantCardon.
Cardone.
And Grant Cardone does a podcast.
Yeah, he's a really big real estate guy, but he
Oh,
holds he holds a lot of like conferences and stuff like that, motivational speeches and stuff
come
like
to
that.
my
So
seminar.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
interesting. But
But he
smart
really
with it.
gets you fired up though, like
Gets you fired up. What
makes
other
you feel like you ain't doing shit.
yeah. What other motivational speakers do you tend to listen to or
Um, really, man, it's like online. It would just be Grant Cardone.
okay.
That's kind of it. Other than that, we go every other week to business meetings with a bunch of other business individuals, and I have a little
Is,
small group that we do on
is
text
that like
message
the
and stuff. So
BNP thing or like a
like
group like that? What is it?
BNI is what they call
BNI.
it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So
it's like that, but we don't wear suit and ties. Like a B&I group, it's always kind of like the upper echelon people that wear suit and ties and stuff like that. This is more just like me and you would show up in the clothes that we're wearing, and we would be able to cuss, and just a bunch of people, man, like a bunch of business owners get around and
cool. That's cool.
help each other out. So that
And
would
you
be
do
another
that.
big pearl of wisdom, is to surround yourself with people that are doing
Yeah.
better than you. So
Yeah. That's a big one. Yeah. Who we hang out with is pretty much a reflection of our future or where we're headed. Good to be aware of that, and you don't have to be a dick. But sometimes too, I've heard like also, you're either surrounding yourself with people that are filling you up or that are taking, like I have friends, it's like I'm either giving, I'm constantly giving to this person, or I'm around somebody that's filling me up, or that I don't have to give anything to. I don't have to give a lot of energy to this relationship. It sustains itself, versus somebody that's always in crisis,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting to be aware of.
We were talking in the group about hiring people, and that was one of the things, was we're not trying to be anybody's savior. Like, if you need me to save you by giving you this job, then you're probably not the right candidate,
Right. And so Jams Drywall, they can call you directly. What's a good way to get a hold of you?
Cell phone, social media pages. We got all of them: Instagram, Facebook, Google, TikTok.
What's your website?
It's my website. I need to fix it, but it's still jamsdrywallandremodeling.com.
Well, you're about 5 steps ahead of a lot of people in this industry don't have websites, which is crazy to me, but it's smart that you have one. And then on Instagram, what's your handle?
Drywall.
Jams Drywall. And then look out for the Remodelers Worldwide, which I think I'm a part of, but I can't remember my
pretty sure you are.
My personal account got deleted at the first of the year, and so I've built it.
Your new one won't be in it then, yeah.
Probably not. And then very cool. Well, thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy. Thank you so much for coming on the Drywall podcast today, talking with me. It was fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your insight for 29. I'm really impressed with your level of commitment and where you are in your business. It's impressive. So
don't be scared.
Don't be scared. All right, Jason, you have a good rest of your day, and don't be scared to try some Fresco Harmony. It won't bite. It's just colored mud, man.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, bud. You have a good rest of your day. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, thanks, man. Bye. Special thanks to Jason Marshall of Jams Drywall for being with us on the Drywall podcast today. I really appreciate your time. The Drywall podcast can be listened to every Friday on your favorite platforms such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. We have a new guest every Friday, and they're drywallers, and they're always awesome. So thanks to Can-Am Tools for sponsoring the months of March and April on the Drywall podcast. I really appreciate it. Can-Am Tools, industry-leading tools that help professionals around the world save time and money. Now, for the months of March and April, you have the opportunity to get your hands on these amazing tools at a discounted price. All you have to do is go to canamtools.com, enter promo code TDP15, and you will get a discount. Check out my interview with Wolfgang, episode 44 of the Drywall podcast also. It's fantastic. He's fantastic. The Drywall Podcast is also brought to you by Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. Now available at CSR in the store and online at csrbuilding.com. Special thanks to CSR also for ponying up a sweet swag bucket for guests of the Drywall Podcast. Thank you so much for listening today. I sincerely appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did. Tune in next week when we will have Gary Holt from all the way down under in Australia with us. Until then, though, keep drywalling.